In the sprawling hills of central Oklahoma, we have a saying, don't pick a fight unless you've got the grit to see it through. So when a self-proclaimed HOA president, barely out of her Ivy League internship, tried to stop me from drilling a well on the land my family's held for 6 generations, she didn't just make a mistake, she signed up for a reckoning. My name's Tom Harlan, and I've got water rights etched in ink older than her family tree. I know every pipe snaking through this dusty expanse like the veins in my own hands. She thought her stack of HOA bylaws could outmuscle legal deeds. Big mistake. Within 48 hours, her prized community fountain went dry. The peacock sheet imported for her eco-friendly aesthetics started screeching, and her HOA office fell quieter than a ghost town. This isn't just about a well. This is about winning a war without firing a shot, just a valve turned shut. Where are you reading from? Let me know, because this is a story of justice served cold, Oklahoma style. It was a blistering July morning in 2024 when I heard tires crunching on the gravel drive of our ranch outside Stillwater. I was knee-deep in the guts of a water pump older than my 17-year-old son, Luke, trying to squeeze another season out of it. The ranch had been too quiet since my wife, Emily, passed 2 years back, just me, and Luke holding tight to a legacy carved into this land by my great-great-grandfather. Our fields stretched out like a worn quilt, patched with green alfalfa and brown earth, stitched together by irrigation ditches dug by hand a century ago. This wasn't just dirt. It was our blood, our history, our home. I wiped grease off my hands and squinted up to see a woman in a sleek blazer tiptoeing through the yard like she was dodging landmines. "Mr. Harlan," she called, her voice dripping with that fake confidence people use when they've never earned it. She was young, maybe 30, with glossy black hair that screamed city salon. "I'm Lauren Prescott, president of the Greenhaven Homeowners Association. We need to discuss environmental violations on your property." She handed me a document with a flourish, all gold embossed letterhead and legal jargon that hit me like a punch. Effective immediately, all drilling on properties within Greenhaven boundaries was banned pending an environmental review. I read it twice, my pulse hammering, then locked eyes with this stranger who thought she could dictate terms on land my family had tamed before Oklahoma was a state. "Ma'am," I said, channeling Emily's advice to stay calm with fools, "we've been drilling wells here since 1918. Our water rights predate your neighborhood's existence." Lauren's smile didn't budge, but her eyes glinted like a snake's. "The association has strict ecological standards, Mr. Harlan. Unauthorized drilling threatens the aquifer our community relies on." The way she said "our" made my fists clench. She stood there, a peacock in a pantsuit, thinking her chirpy rules could scare off a man who'd weathered droughts, blizzards, and loss. She didn't know my family had been the aquifer's steward since before her kind invented environmentalism. I stepped over to the main water valve, a brass beast my grandfather installed when neighbors sealed deals with a handshake. It fed our ranch and half the county, including her precious Greenhaven. "You talk a lot about shared resources," I said, tracing the pipe that vanished into the earth. "What do you know about the pipes bringing water to your HOA? Her smirk faltered just for a second. "I'm sure it's all regulated," she stammered. That's when I knew she was clueless. This wasn't about the environment, it was about power. And she'd picked the wrong man to bully. Lauren doubled down, her voice sharp. "Cease drilling immediately, or we'll sue for environmental violations. We have lawyers, Mr. Harlan, and we use them." She spun on her heels, wobbling back to her car in those city shoes, leaving me with a paper that felt like a declaration of war. Luke stepped out of the house, his jeans dusty from chores, and read the letter. At 17, he had his mother's sharp mind and my father's stubborn streak. "She can't do this, can she?" he asked, eyes blazing. I shook my head. The Harlans don't surrender, we adapt. That night, Luke and I climbed into the attic, a time capsule of family history smelling of leather and dust. We dug through boxes labeled in my grandfather's spidery script, hunting for the water rights. Luke's phone flashlight cut through the gloom as we found a folder from 1918, a contract signed by my great-grandfather, Amos Harlan, and the county. It didn't just grant us drilling rights. It made us the backbone of the local water system, with pipes from our wells feeding what was now Greenhaven. Lauren's HOA was sipping our water, and she didn't even know it. The deeper we dug, the uglier it got. Luke's laptop revealed Greenhaven's HOA wasn't even legally registered. Their bylaws, threats, and standards were a house of cards. I called our neighbor, Walt Jenkins, a grizzled rancher with a memory sharper than barbed wire. "Tom, that Prescott woman's been hassling everyone," he growled. "Told me I couldn't fix my irrigation without a permit. She's not protecting nothing strong-arming folks." Luke kept digging online and found Greenhaven Development LLC, with Lauren Prescott as the principal. She bought up 4 properties in 6 months, filing plans for a luxury subdivision that'd need massive water upgrades. This wasn't about saving the aquifer, it was a land grab, and her HOA was the weapon. The next morning, Luke choked on his coffee, showing me Lauren's viral TikTok. Filmed at our gate, edited to make our ranch look like an oil refinery. She called me an ecological terrorist planning to poison our water. The video racked up thousands of views, with Save Greenhaven trending and strangers demanding my arrest. It was a slick lie, twisting real fears into a weapon against us. While I fielded calls from reporters, Luke traced her purchases, linking them to her development plans. She wasn't saving the environment, she was paving it for profit. By dusk, neighbors showed up, not with pitchforks but with empty jugs, worried their taps were next. "Tom, my well's low," said Mrs. Carter. "Can you spare some water?" I filled her containers, seeing Lauren's plan, sow fear, divide neighbors. But she underestimated the bonds we'd built over decades. That night, staring at Emily's photo, I wavered. What if I'm just a stubborn old man fighting progress? I whispered. Luke overheard, sliding into the kitchen with 2 glasses of milk. "Dad, Mom wouldn't let you quit. You're not fighting the past, you're protecting our future." His words hit like a thunderclap. This was about the world we'd leave him, about truth over lies. We planned until dawn. Luke hacked county records. I reviewed our water contracts. Greenhaven was using our water line illegally, and Lauren's legal threats were bluffs. At sunrise, I set my phone on my truck, aimed it at the valve, and went live on Facebook. "Morning, folks," I said, holding up a 1918 contract. "I'm Tom Harlan, on land my family's worked since 1918. This valve feeds Greenhaven, and Lauren Prescott's HOA drinks our water while threatening to sue us." I showed the pipes, the documents, and exposed her scam, a developer posing as an environmentalist, bullying ranchers to sell cheap for her subdivision. "This isn't revenge," I said, gripping the valve. "It's truth." I turned it shut, the clank echoing like a gunshot. Within hours, Lauren's prize peacocks wailed, her fountain dried up, and Greenhaven's tanks emptied. Her HOA office went silent as residents demanded answers. News crews swarmed, drawn by the surreal image of thirsty peacocks and a viral standoff. Lauren's lawyer, Greg Tate, showed up with a restraining order, but Luke had dirt. Tate was her brother, and their HOA was a fraud. Walt arrived with a box of 1970s deeds proving our water rights and a 1979 survey showing a massive aquifer under Greenhaven Lauren's real target, worth millions. At a press conference with peacock screeching, I laid it all bare: Lauren's fraud, her land grab, her fake environmentalism. As I spoke, police rolled in, cuffing Lauren for fraud and conspiracy. The timing was poetic. She fell as her lies hit the airwaves. I reopened the valve, and the peacock's cries faded, replaced by a community's sigh of relief. Months later, Luke's secret documentary, filmed from Lauren's first visit to her arrest, premiered at the county courthouse. It exposed her scam and our fight, earning Luke a scholarship for environmental engineering. We formed the Greenhaven Water Cooperative, community-run and transparent, and built an environmental center on land Lauren meant for condos. A year later, Lauren returned, humbled, asking to volunteer. "I want to do real conservation," she said. I pointed to the center. "Prove it. In Oklahoma, we don't start fights we can't finish." I shut that valve not for vengeance, but to show the difference between real stewardship and fake power. The peacocks, once screaming, now strut in peace, a reminder that truth wins when you hold your ground. Have you ever faced someone twisting a good cause to hurt others? Did you fight back or let it slide? What's the line between standing up and stirring trouble? Share your story. Your voice fuels the fight for what's right. Like, subscribe, and pass this on to someone who knows quiet strength speaks louder than lies.